attached to those things and our movement get restricted. Movement of our inner personality as though get restricted because of this attachment. बांध के रखते हैं हमको. We are bound by this little attachment. They go away or they are taken away from us when we die. Otherwise they are there. People hold on to their attached to their properties, attached to their things, they all hold on to this. छोड़ते नहीं हैं. मृत्यु निकट आ गई है लेकिन that passbook and this and that इसे पकड़ के रखा हुआ है. But when the मृत्यु comes, हाथ छोड़ जाता है वहाँ पर. वो पासबुक लेके जाता है दूसरे कोई. So everything goes away. Because मृत्यु is not attached to anybody. So raga attachment, and dvesha is a dislike. Raga also can be intense like, intense attachment, and dvesha is dislike. See, both raga and dvesha, likes and dislikes, makes us think about the world only. When you think of someone or when you think of something, you either think of them with the attitude of like or with the attitude of dislike. When it becomes neutral, our thinking, we can withdraw our thinking. But when it is like or dislike, we are thinking. So we think with equal intensity about our friend and about our enemy also. Sometimes more intensely about the enemy. If we happen to see our friend, we feel great joy in our heart. And we happen to see our enemy, immediately that anger also arises in the heart, equally strongly. So these are factors which prevent us from meditating on that supreme reality. We are bound to this world. It's like the balloon, gas balloon, which is tied with a string, and the string is tied to some object here. The balloon wants to go up in the sky, but because it is tied, it is stuck. So when we cut the string, the balloon just immediately flies away. Similarly, these are 5 strings which are tying us to this samsara. If we can cut this, we can go transcend this samsara. So avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha. So intense likes and dislike. Those are also strings. So one should go beyond this concept of like and dislike. And this happens through satsang, through contemplation. We gain that vairagya. Vairagya means freedom from both likes and dislikes. That's called vairagya. And the fifth klesha is abhinivesh. Abhinivesh means attachment. It's a special term. It is attachment to life, to living, to life. It's a very strange klesha, attachment to life. This attachment to life is attachment to our living in this body, living in this world. So this prevents us from transcending this world. It's like a person who is very much attached to the waking state, he will find very great difficulty to go to sleep. You are watching the match and all and feeling sleepy also at the same time. But I want to see now what happens, थोड़े से रन बाकी है, अभी देखते हैं क्या होता है. But you sleep so early, why don't you sleep? No. All excitement is there. I will miss the excitement. Similarly, when we are attached to living, some people have a thing that I should live for a long time. मरने से डरते भी है, मरना नहीं चाहते हैं. That doesn't mean we have to die or commit suicide or something like that, but that attachment to living should not be there for a seeker of avyakta upasana. Because when we meditate, we transcend all this identification and identify with that supreme. So only fear of death will prevent us from going into deep state of meditation. It will bring us out. It will prevent us from going. It's like a person who is all ready to do that skydiving and all. He has put the parachute and everything and wants to jump out of that. But that fear will prevent him from jumping. Some people go to learn swimming and all. एक हाथ वो बाहर पकड़ के रखते हैं, एक हाथ से swimming सीखते हैं. Yeah, very dangerous actually. People, because other fellows, everyone is learning. So this fellow holds on to that danda there and kicks his leg so vigorously that person who is learning swimming behind, he gets kicked. एक हाथ पकड़ के रखते, जब तक वो दोनों हाथ छोड़ते नहीं, we won't be able to surrender to that water. But no, we want to hold on to this and then also learn swimming at the same time. So similarly, our attachment to life will prevent us from transcending life and attaining that state of eternity. Even in Ashtavakra Gita, the Ashtavakra Rishi says that people are afraid of meditation. साधारण meditation we are not afraid of because we know बाद में उसके बाद फिर से we will be back to the same world. But really to transcend this world we should become free of the fear of death. Free of fear of death, because the state of enlightenment is also dying to this world. We have to die. So that fear of death, if it is removed, and that is very intensely it is there, people have this fear of death. कि मर जाएंगे and मरना है और मृत्यु निकट आ गई है and all. So fear of death is a sign that I think I am the body, is a sign of ignorance, is a sign that what the scriptures are saying that you are that eternal, immortal is not accepted. That I am not accepting what the scriptures are saying. Either I have not understood or I don't have faith in them. The scripture says you are eternal, immortal. You cannot be cut. In the second chapter we have seen Atma cannot be cut by any instruments. It cannot be burned by fire. We say yes, every day I meditate, but abhi mrityu nikat aa gayi hai meri. Arre, just now you say you are that free from all death and free from all destruction. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, Shivoham we say. But again we identify. So that fear of death is also, or attachment to life is also one of the obstacles. So this pancha klesha, avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha and abhinivesh, they are there for Vyakta Upasak also. But it is more for those who do Avyakta Upasana. For Vyakta Upasana it is less. It is there, but it is less. Because Vyakta Upasana is little with concession, little with compromise. Taking into account our limitation, little compromise is there. But Avyakta Upasana, no compromise. So it's more difficult. So klesho dhikatarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavat bhiravapyate. Like in our country also, many various Mahatmas came Some of them advocated the Avyakta Upasana, and some they talked about the Vyakta Upasana. Like Mirabai and all was talking about Vyakta Upasana, Krishna and all. Guru Nanak Dev and all talked about the Vyakta Upasana. Ek Onkar Satnam, Karta Puruk, Nirbhav, Nirvair. So this klesha is more. Therefore, Bhagavan says, both this path will lead to me, but one has got more klesha, more trouble, more difficulty, if we are attached to the body. If we are not attached to the body, if we are having proper qualities, then this is the direct path. It leads a person directly to the state of enlightenment. But if we have these attachments and we have some limitations, then a Vyakta Upasana is better. And that's what Bhagavan says now in the next verse. He is talking again about the Vyakta Upasana. He says, Ye tu sarvani karmani Mai sanyasya matparaha Ananyenaiva yogena Mam dhyayanta upasate Tesham aham samudharta Mrityu samsara sagarat Bhavami na chirat partha Maya veshita chetasam Ye tu sarvani karmani Mai sanyasya matparaha Tesham aham samudharta Bhagavan says that those who follow this path of Vyakta Upasana, worshipping God in His manifested form, then one gets the support of this manifested form also. We get the support of Ishvara. Bhagavan says one who dedicates all their actions to me. So you don't have to close your eyes and sit and meditate, but you can perform your actions. That itself makes it more simple and more doable for a lot of people. That you, instead of transcending and shifting your attention from all names and forms, you look at this whole world as the manifestation of God and perform your actions for God. Sarvani karmani mai sanyasya. Dedicate all your actions to me. With your eyes open, you don't have to close your eyes. Your eyes and all the senses are working and all your actions are being performed, but perform these actions to me. Dedicate your actions to me. That is the thing of this Sagun Upasana, that we have to do everything for that Ishvara, who is manifest. In Narad Bhakti Sutra also Naradji says that is the lakshana of this devotion, that we perform all actions to God. So all actions are dedicated to God, and not to forget God. That is the main duty of a Sagun Upasak. So, ye to sarvani karmani. Sarvani karmani doesn't mean bad action and all, but all action, all our duties should be dedicated to God. And this is very beautifully brought out in that famous verse of Bhagavad, which conveys the Bhagavad Dharma. You must be knowing. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. कि whatever I do, whatever activities I do with my body, with my speech, with my senses, with my mind, with my nature, according to my swabhav, whatever actions I am doing, O God, O Lord, I dedicate all these actions to you. I am performing it to you. Means bringing that attitude that I belong to God and I am performing all actions for Him. Even my walking, my talking, my breathing, every activity is for dedicated to the all-pervading God. That is in short is Sagun Upasana. भगवान के लिए काम करो. Be the sevak of Bhagwan. And Bhagwan is what? One who is in everyone and everything, who is manifested in front of us in the form of this world. So, etu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya, dedicating all karmas to me, mat paraha, one who considers me as supreme, as our supreme destination, supreme goal, having no other intention in our mind, having the notion that God is my ultimate destination, that I don't have any other agenda, no hidden agenda anywhere. God is my ultimate destination and I am working for Him. I am living in this world in the service of God. Bring that notion in your heart that I belong to God. I belong to Ishvara. I belong to nobody else. I belong to Ishvara and I am working for Him. That attitude to bring in our heart and to perform every action means whatever I am doing, my entire living itself should be dedicated to Bhagwan. That attitude if one brings, then that is called Sagun Upasana, remaining close to God, who is manifested. Feeling His presence in and through everything. That's called Upasana. Feeling the presence of the divinity while living in this world, while performing all our karmas, we should feel the presence of God. We can take His name, which may help, but otherwise just bring that attitude that everything is pervaded by divinity and I am performing these actions and doing everything for Him, for His joy. Not to help Him. God doesn't require anybody's help. But for His joy, I am performing this. He has placed me in this place, I am doing it for His joy. So, mat paraha, ananya naiva yogena, with ananya bhavana, without bringing any other form or any other concept in our mind, only for the sake of God. Bhagwan alone is supreme and He alone is there and I am doing it for Him alone. He is my ultimate destination. He is my ultimate protector. He is my friend. You can develop various types of relationship with, imagine various relationship with God. One can imagine Him to be our father, or we can imagine her to be our mother. God can be imagined as male, as female, as anything. So one can, if one has got more that feeling towards mother, then one can imagine God as mother and worship Him as mother, cosmic, divine mother. Or one can imagine God as father. Or one can imagine Him as our friend. Or one can imagine Him as a beloved and worship Him. Or one can imagine him as a master, a guru, and worship him. So all this relationship help us to tune ourselves with Bhagwan and constantly work for him and meditate and think about him. That is his upasana. When we do this upasana, Bhagwan says, I lift them from this samsara. I help them. So how Bhagwan helps, and more about this we will see in our class tomorrow.